Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a full aquarium tour. I'm showing all of my new tanks and new fish. It has been a long time since I did a video like this, I think about 10 or 11 months. So there's a ton to update you on. There's huge plans coming. Also, I have not shown the 500-gallon plywood tank in about 4 or 5 months now, so you've probably been wondering what's going on with that. So we will touch on that towards the end of the video. Can't wait to show you all of the updates in all my tanks. Let's dive right in. Okay, so before we go check out all the basement aquariums and the updates down there, I just wanted to show you briefly, this is my backyard koi pond that has been doing really well. I've had these koi for about 4.5 years, and the 5 of them have done great. I have to do a bit of cleanup around it in terms of the plants, but I absolutely love coming out here and just enjoying the fish. One of them was actually born in this pond, so it was like kind of a surprise that only one koi made it. And I think its parents were the big yellow and the white one, and I think it's now outgrown one of the parents. So yeah, I really enjoy having this in my backyard. It's really calm and tranquil, just sitting back here and watching the koi. But let's go down and check out the basement aquarium. Okay, so the first tank that you are greeted with when you come down my basement staircase is this custom aquarium. This is the first of 3 custom aquariums I have. This is a really unique tank because of the height. It is 3 feet tall, total of 135 gallons, and it is just an incredible tank. This is an Asian river theme. So you have some Bosemani rainbow fish, which have really started to grow and look nice. The males are getting some great color. You have 3 chromide cichlids. So I have 2 green chromides and 1 pearl spot chromide that has a little bit less color than the greens. But these guys are kind of slow growing. They've been doing good for about 3 months since the tank has been set up, maybe 4 months, but they haven't grown much. The rainbows, I've noticed some growth. There's also a school of 9 snakeskin barbs, and I absolutely love these guys. They're kind of like a tiger barb without as much aggression or fin nipping. So they're a great schooling fish, kind of mid-level, and I love the pattern on them. And then I have some yo-yo loaches that really hide out towards the bottom of the tank. The driftwood and the rocks and the scape I really like. There are some plants in here that I'm hoping start to grow and fill in the upper levels of the tank, like the Anubias that is tied to the driftwood. I have a couple jungle valves that I planted in the back that I'm hoping grows. For some reason I can never really grow jungle val, even though people say it's an easy plant. You can see the yo-yo loach coming out right here. But it's a really cool tank with all levels occupied in the aquarium. And I can't wait to see the fish grow, the plants grow in. It's going to be a really awesome tank, even though I like it already. Also, it's got 2 Ecotech Radion lights, which adds a really good dynamic above the tank. And then it's powered by Cichlid canister filters and the steel reinforced stand. So absolutely love this tank, but let's go on to the next big aquarium. And I know I've had a lot of questions wanting updates on this guy here. So this is my 180-gallon acrylic aquarium that's 6 by 2 by 2 feet. And I recently changed up this aquascape and added a new resident. This was my dovi cichlid, and he is doing great. So I got him, I think in April, so about 4 months ago, and he was real small, about 3 inches. Put on a little bit of size during that time as he's been the solo resident in this aquarium. He's gonna get huge. He's gonna be big and blue, probably over 2 feet in length when he grows to his full maturity. And right now he's probably 5.5 inches, so he has a long way to go. And I can't wait to see that growth and kind of document it on the channel. But he is doing great. Sometimes he's a little bit shy, sometimes he's very aggressive in wanting food. So I'm hoping as he continues to see me and want food and just get to know me that he'll be out and about a lot. A lot of people were worried that, oh, he's going to tear up the aquascape, and he still definitely might when he grows. So far, he's just done a little bit of digging here and there, but I also know I might need to either upgrade his tank size if he reaches that 2 feet in length, and or change out some of the scape to remove some of the driftwood and fake plants and rocks to give him more space. But as a 5.5 to 6 inch fish right now, he's totally fine in this aquarium. So really excited to have the dovi. The wolf cichlid is known to be one of the most aggressive cichlids in the aquarium hobby, so that's why he is solo. Most people keep them solo or in a pair, but it can be really challenging to keep them with any tank mates just because of their size, aggression, and they might just go after anything you put in the tank. So Really like this tank. It's powered by canister filters. It has an aqua illumination freshwater blade light, which I really like on the top. It's got the Cichlid Bro logo above it. But as we go on to the next aquarium over here, this is the 150-gallon custom aquarium that has been set up now for about 4, maybe 5 years. And it's really grown in nicely. Awesome tank. It's 5 by 2 by 2 feet. And I have 2 Kessel tuna suns, the stocking in here. I have my 2 Geophagus finni. These are a pair. They have bred in this tank multiple times. I finally was able to scoop out their babies and put them in another tank, which I'll show in a few minutes. These Geophagus are mouth-brooding cichlids, so once those eggs hatch, they take the babies into their mouths, and it's really hard to get them out. So I documented that full process. You can check that out in the other video. I also have 3 electric blue acara, one that's pretty small still, but the other 2 are big guys. I actually just lost the 4th electric blue acara not too long ago. It was about 7 years old, and I think it was just kind of old age, and he slowly kind of passed away. And then I also lost my freshwater angelfish, and it could have been due to the Geophagus breeding and being a little more aggressive and feisty, or it could have just been getting up there in age and something else that I just didn't know. And so I no longer have angelfish in this tank, but I do have angelfish in other tanks that I will show later on. Also, I did add just 1 crypt in the back right, and they have really taken off and grown throughout the back and the right side of the tank. So even more plants coming in here, which is really cool. Also, I do have 3 plecos. I have 2 bristlenose plecos that you hardly ever see, and a leopard frog pleco, which is an exotic type. Really cool anytime they do come out and I'm able to see them, but they do a great job keeping algae off of the leaves. And I can't forget the 7 denizen barbs, which are a really good schooling fish. These have gotten really big over the years. Had them probably 4 years, and they have great size, color, and behavior. They are not aggressive at all, so they're great tank mates for South American cichlids like the geos and the electric blue acara. This tank has the seamless sump down below, which is a really great filtration for some of these custom aquariums. I have 2 of these. I'll show you one on the other tank, but it's really easy to maintain that sump. And then I have wave makers on most of my tanks as well. Ciche Extreme SDCs on almost all these big tanks that we're seeing. But then as we move on over here, this is my only saltwater aquarium. This is on my desk here where I do some work. Got the Chicago flag here. But we have a 15-gallon Hello Reef aquarium. I set this up about 1 year and 9 months ago. So I've had the clownfish for a long time. They've done great, this pair here. And I really like these guys, really personable and kind of fun to have right here on the desk, and change it up a bit from some of my other aquariums. I would like to get either another anemone or some corals for this tank in the future, but for the time being, I like kind of the low maintenance that these clownfish require. But a really cool tank. And then over here is my 3rd and last custom aquarium. This is a 135-gallon custom aquarium with the seamless sump down below, aqua illumination, freshwater blades hung up above it. And it's a little bit cloudy right now. I fed the tank early this morning, and they decided to completely move the sand and stir things up. Normally it's a little more clear than this, but this is a beautiful African cichlid tank. These are peacocks and haps from Lake Malawi. So really good colors and activity. You can see them swimming around like crazy. It's just a very different tank than some of my South and Central Americans that I really like to keep down here. But I love having just a very different tank here. So you can see a lot of different OBs, the yellow OB Venusis, the OB Lemon Jake and Lawanda down there are some of the newer guys. I love the Sunshine Peacock, bright yellow. The Taiwan Reef here is probably the tank boss. It's the most aggressive and dominant. It's probably the biggest as well. The Dragon Blood is like a pinkish red, really cool coloration to hit that. The Deepwater Hap is just starting to grow and put on size. I love the Blue Dolphin Cichlid. Also the Star Sapphire is starting to get some chipping coloration. So some of these guys are still going to start growing in and getting even better coloration and body shape to them. And you can't miss the OB Malawi Gar. This is the newest one I just added about 2 weeks ago. Really settled in nicely. I was kind of lucky that when I just added him, there wasn't too much aggression. but an absolutely stunning fish that I got from that recent fish room tour that you can also check out in a previous video. But I absolutely love this tank. It does need to be kind of an open scape for these open water swimmers. If you're going to keep in Buna, you probably need to have a much more intricate or much grander rockscape for them, but these guys really need open water swimming space, so they're really the decor and the color in the tank versus what you would actually find for aquascaping. But next we're going to go over to my 90 gallon over here in the bar section. So this is probably my least favorite aquarium. So this is a 90 gallon tank. Right now it has a big school of rummy-nosed tetras, which I've had. They've probably been in here for 5 years now, maybe 4.5. I do have this angelfish. This, I believe, is the mom of the angelfish that we'll see in the other tank. There were 2 other angelfish in here for a while, including the male that she paired off with. As soon as they went through the breeding process, laid eggs a few times, and I was able to scoop out some of the babies, the male just never really recovered. It seemed like the breeding process really took a toll on him, and I've just randomly found him dead in the tank, unfortunately. So yeah, this used to be a discus tank, and I had issues with the discus, but all the other fish like the tetras, the loaches, the plecos in here have thrived for many years. So I don't think I'm going to try discus in here again. I also, because I lost the 2 angelfish, feel like this needs some extra stockings. So I'm going to be adding the babies from this mom into the tank to join hers. And it was a cool aquascape until some of the algae killed off some of the plants, just kind of overtook them and kind of made it look messy. But some of the plants have started to kind of come back. Some of the Nubius is taking hold. Some of the crypts look good. I just need to manually remove some more of that algae and kind of tune the lighting and the nutrients to a better level to finally get this tank looking good, if that is ever going to be possible. But so we can move on to my next tank, which is on the bar that I built in the Cichlid Bros bar, which is still an ongoing process. Some things that I still want to update and make this into a really cool area. But we have a 10-gallon tank with angelfish babies. These are, I believe there's 9 of them that I was able to scoop out of the previous tank and put into this 10-gallon tank to grow up. They're always wanting food. I actually kind of like this scape with some plants in there, a little bit of dragonstone and driftwood. But the babies have kind of turned into silverish, black, some white, kind of unique color patterns to them. But they're a big enough size that I think they can move into the 90-gallon tank here in the next week or 2. So they'll be joining their mom in the other tank along with the rummy-nosed tetras and kind of making that tank into a really cool angelfish tank and giving them a lot more space to grow in to their full maturity. So really excited to have these guys. It's always fun to watch that breeding process and watch them grow, and then be able to give them a more forever home coming up really soon. I also really like the position of this tank. I didn't intend for it to be on the bar, but it actually fit in really nicely, and I'm able to see them as I'm sitting at the bar. It gives a lot of activity, and once I move out the angelfish, I can use this for smaller fish or quarantining more fish or even growing up more babies, because we do have a lot of breeding happening in some of my tanks. But really cool 10-gallon tank. And before we look over on the other side here, which you probably have been wondering about for a while, is the plywood tank. Before we get to that, let's go check out the fish room so you can kind of understand where things are headed. So just over here, if you come this way, well, we also have a dehumidifier right here that is almost always running. I have 2 dehumidifiers that help with the humidity in my home and the basement. And I also have firm lids on all the tanks, which also makes sure that the fish don't jump out and helps limit evaporation on any of the tanks. The one tank that doesn't have a lid is the saltwater tank, and I have to top it off every 2 days. It's super annoying. But we got a Rambo here who wants to go into the fish room this way. So we're gonna go ahead and come on in. So as you come in here, this is actually just a storage room that was the back corner of my basement that was extra space that I could fit aquariums. So being the crazy guy I am, I did fit more tanks in here. So we can start on this wall first, because we have a brand new 125-gallon aquarium. And this is gonna be used in an upcoming video, and then we're gonna stock it permanently, and you're gonna kind of see the reason for this. It's all gonna come together in the next few videos, but we're gonna wrap this with plywood and make it look nice and neat. and it's a stair step stand. So we had the 125, regular size, 6 foot long, and then above it we have a 75 gallon and a 20 gallon. In the 20-gallon tank here we have checkerboard cichlids, which are really small dwarf cichlids from South America with some really cool patterns along their body, kind of a elongated torpedo shape, but they're really awesome fish, and I put some live plants in there with them. And this tank isn't like professionally scaped or anything. It was supposed to be a holding tank for them for a while until I figured out which permanent tank I wanted, but then I also started to see that maybe they're going to be pairing up and breeding, and if they do that, then I'll just kind of leave them alone in that tank. But in the 75 gallon next to it, this tank is going to be changing pretty soon, I think. Unfortunately, the Cuban cichlid has a swim bladder issue, which I've mentioned in multiple videos, so it can't stay buoyant very well. It can still swim around and eat, but really struggles, like you can see there. And he was supposed to be the wet pet sole resident of this tank and be an awesome big male Cuban cichlid, but because of that swim bladder issue, it is just something I don't think will ever be curable. I've tried multiple things and it just hasn't worked. It was an injury from the banded leprinus that I used to have that was very aggressive. Just one day smoked him, I think, and caused that injury. So unfortunately, I don't know what we're going to be doing with the Cuban cichlid. I don't want to give him away, but I also don't know what else I can do to cure him. Also in here, though, is my brand new green phantom pleco. I just got him, and he is an awesome pleco, and he's going to be in here, I think, for the long term. I really love the color patterns to them. They are awesome plecos. They don't get too big. And that's just one wall of the storage room, and the overall room, I'm trying to improve the aesthetics and just enjoying being in here more myself. So I think I'm going to get like a fake plant wall behind me here and hide some of the storage over here. I think it's going to look really cool here in the next few months. But over on this side of the wall, we have a lot of tanks. We have 3 40 gallons, we have a 20 gallon, a 5 gallon, and 2 10s. So this first 40 gallon tank I've really liked. I wish some of the plants were doing a bit better, but it still looks nice. I like the Bolivian rams. The golden eye cichlid is a nice big female. We also have a little school of cherry barbs, which have some really cool activity in bright red color. I love the aquascape with the firestones. It's a different pop of red than some of my other tanks, along with the driftwood. The crypts and the dwarf sag haven't really grown in like I expected, but hopefully they will catch on here soon. I did just add a DIY lid. This is just polycarbonate, and it has helped with the evaporation on this tank and keeping the temperature where I needed it. So this is coming along. I really like the fish and the overall scape, even though the plants are still going to be growing in here. But then down here, the 40 gallon on the bottom, this is a cold water aquarium. And as you can see, we have 4 Gymnogeophagus terrapurpura. So these are South American cichlids from the Uruguay area. I've had these for about 5 years and they've done really well. They have laid eggs multiple times. You can see the male over here with a really cool color, fired up, and the main female that have paired up together. I haven't been able to scoop out the babies and grow them up, unfortunately, but these guys have done really good in about 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, so no heater, which is nice, one less thing to plug in. Some of the Anubias has started to grow in a little bit better, and some of the algae has died back, so the tank looks nice, but these guys are getting up there in age, and once we move past this group, I would still like to find more Gymnogeophagus species because there's a lot of really cool ones, the cold water cichlids, and maybe even testing some in an outdoor pond. So really like this tank, and it's been fun watching these guys kind of bicker together but never do any real harm. But a cool, unique, rare cichlid there. And then we have one of my newer tank setups. I'll walk over on this side. This is a 40 gallon tank. We got the AI Prime 16 hanging above, providing a really good shimmer, nice rockscape, and some shells because this is a Lake Tanganyika aquarium. Not totally a biotope, but close to it. And it has 7 Julidochromis ornatus, and they are absolutely beautiful Lake Tanganyika cichlids. They're really small right now, only about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, but they have like that torpedo shape, the elongated body. Right now they're just kind of black and white, but they will also get some yellow color patterns to them when they grow and mature. And they love the rock work, which is why we have those two kind of rock piles. They go in and out of that. They are rock dwelling fish, so can't wait for them to grow up, show that extra color, maybe even get some breeding action from them. I would love just kind of a big school of them once they do breed and maybe develop that colony. I did have a shell dweller tank in the past and they had a ton of babies. It was a really cool tank. So I kind of want that to happen with these guys, at least initially. And if it does happen and I get to see the breeding process through, we could change this up down the line and maybe add some other Lake Tanganyikan fish like Calvis or something else that's more unique to kind of make this more of a community rather than a species-only tank. But moving down here, this is a 20-gallon aquarium that is starting to look nice. This guy right here, absolutely love him. This is one of the more underrated cichlids in the hobby. This is the male golden eye cichlid. Kind of looks like a smaller electric Pullicara. He right now is kind of bickering with the female. So we just have the pair in here at the moment. They're not technically a pair because I haven't seen them breed. He's actually been really rough on the female, kind of nipping at her, chasing her away. Right now she's kind of hiding behind the filter, but he is fired up and I would like to give them maybe a couple more weeks together to see if they will breed and be successful. If not, I will scoop her out and swap in the other female who's a bit bigger than this one. So I really would like to see the breeding process through with them and then raise their babies if possible. But they're amazing South American dwarf cichlids with some great color. The scape in here will look nice, I think, once some of the plants grow in. I did have issues with cyanobacteria, some of that green slime, but it has faded away with water changes, tweaking my light schedule, and it's starting to get more in tune. So hopefully the plants grow in around the driftwood and make this a really cool looking tank in the future. And down below, you may not be able to see too much here, but I will get some close-up footage. This is a 5-gallon shrimp tank. You can see a couple of them on the front panel. It's kind of dark because the salvinia, that floating plant on top, is kind of blocking the sun or the light that gets down to the bottom. The tank is pretty cool because it spins on the little stand it has, so you can look at it from multiple directions. But these blue dream shrimp have bred like crazy, so there's a ton of babies down there in the rocks. You look in this tank at any point and there's just adults and babies everywhere. So I only put, I think, 7 or 8 blue dream shrimp in here originally, and there's probably 50 or more in there now. And it's really easy to maintain. I do need to clean off the glass maybe, but I just put a little pellet, shrimp pellet in there once every couple days. Otherwise they'll just kind of eat the algae. Pretty cool tank. The tank next to it is not set up yet. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this or not. We will see. But over here, kind of exciting, are my 2 10-gallon tanks. The one on top has my 5 brand new Starry Night cichlids. These are juveniles. I believe I have 1 or 2 males and 3 or 4 females for 5 total Starry Night cichlids. These guys are from Madagascar and they get really big. The males get about 12 inches with some black color and white spots. So that's kind of the Starry Night name that they got. And they are just incredible once they grow up just a bit. So these guys are growing out, kind of a quarantine grow out tank in here, and they will be moving into an upgraded tank size very soon, and I have some really cool plans in mind for them. And then down here, can't forget about the new Geophagus finni. So these are the babies that I was able to scoop out of the 150-gallon tank from the pair that I saw earlier. They were mouth brooding cichlids, like I said, so I had to be really diligent about finding a moment when they spit out the babies, and when they did, I scooped them out. So at the time, I think I scooped out about maybe 60 to 70 babies, and 30-ish, maybe 35. I try to count every day. Grown a bit and have started to be much more active. They're not little specks anymore. They're starting to get an actual fish shape to them. So I have about 35 in here that I'm hoping to continue to grow out and get as many to survive and make it as we can. And the parents, as we saw earlier, are like truly stunning fish, and I can't wait to see what their babies will look like as well. So hopefully I have another generation of Geophagus finni in my tanks at all times, but also might be able to give some of these to subscribers and people in the area to kind of get these awesome fish out there to people that want them. So those were the fish room tanks. A lot of really cool stuff that is coming for them with fish growth, hopefully plant growth, and then the 125 that we have to set up here. So Very excited for this, but we do have one last big aquarium to check out. Let's go. This is the 500-gallon plywood aquarium that I haven't shown in a long time. My big Tiger Oscar Nessie, who's about 6 years old now. There's Bruce, about 7 years old now. Some great size on Bruce, the Bala shark. And then I have my Walroo cichlids. We have 2 there. Unfortunately, I did lose one of the biggest Walroo. He had a bacterial infection and I did lose him, unfortunately. But the other 2 guys are doing great. The Geophagus finni, my other big adult here, spiked dorsal fins, amazing coloration. Look at that guy. One of the most absolutely beautiful fish that I've ever had, and he's done really well with these other South American cichlids. By the way, this plywood aquarium is 500 gallons and it's full of South American fish, except for Bruce the Bala shark, which is the one non-South American. Big Red, the red spot gold severum here, I've had for probably 8 years, maybe my oldest fish. I have a couple more electric blue acara there. I think I have 7 total in this tank, and they put on some really good size. I know a lot of people were worried that they were too small when I put them in the tank, that my Oscar might eat them, but they got big enough and they were fine, and now they are thriving. This is one of my other oldest fish. I probably had this black acara for 8 years now, maybe 8.5, and it's really thick and put on some size, but never had like the best coloration. And always had that notch in its dorsal fin. When I bought it from the fish store, it was like that, and it never grew back, but it, I guess, added some character to him. But you can see I have sunset gold sand, about 400 pounds of it. I have some big pieces of driftwood. I have Kessel tuna sun lights on here. And then, oh, here's my female red shoulder severum doing well. And then I have another electric blue acara over here, but you might be wondering what is that and what is going on with this tank. So if we zoom out, you're gonna see probably the biggest shocking update. It is an absolute mess. So the tank is about 60% full, maybe about 250, 260 gallons in there. We have the wave maker up top, we have the heaters and air stones going, and we have a big sponge filter, and we have like an air pump on a chair here. We have, you know, it's just a complete mess, and I'm gonna have to explain what is happening with this tank in probably the next video, as we have major issues and things we have to solve here. So it's all gonna kind of fit together as a puzzle, and I'm gonna explain what happened with this tank, what's going on, and what's happening next in the next video. Regardless, thanks so much for watching, and follow along with all my other aquariums and all the other fish and updates I have. Much more to come, including about this tank. Thanks, guys.